Boys, welcome back to the great Ace fucking Attorney. It's trial part 2 of 4. So we got more testimony. We have something that we're about to go through today. I kind of forget where we stood at because it's been Easter weekend. We're continuing. We're powering through. I'm going to solve the case, and then we're going to finish this game and we're going to play something else. How much longer is it going to be? I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. Final court case. We're continuing it. Let's just get into it. Changeling DJ, Tito TJ, Jacob Welsh, Dogface. Hello, you guys. Hope you guys had a good Easter Sunday. And you had some eggs and some ham and a rabbit. All right?
Order, please. Let us resume proceedings. Witnesses, you will now retake the stand.
Okay. Oh, yeah, it's these guys again. Great. All right, lay it on me, boys. I've got a life to live.
All right. I presume you've heard the defense counsel's summation examination.
Ah, yeah, Governor.
I did, Gov. I did.
Mr. and Mr. Skulkin.
Ah, blimey!
This is gonna be hard work. Alright. Earlier in this trial, you gave the following testimony about your actions after you entered Windibanks.
Well, it was bedlam soon, weren't it?
It was, Nash, it was. Didn't even have time to pull me dukes out of me Lucy lockets.
However, that was a lie. You brothers.
Ah, blimey!
On the night in question, you rifled through the items on the victim's counter.
We never done nothing of the sort.
How'd you figure that out?
Dope! Man, their mouths are just agape.
You will now give formal testimony once again, and you will tell the court precisely what happened on the night in question. And this time you will tell the truth.
Each lie that passes your lips serves to increase the severity of your punishment. Oh, sir, was that sugar glass? Because otherwise, ow. And that, gentlemen, may deal a crushing blow to your chances of ever seeing the light of day again. A thought worth pondering, perhaps.
Ah, say no more, we hear ya. We'll blab, we'll squeak, we'll squeal, we'll preach.
Great, alright, give me the testimony, let me rip it to shreds, okay? Let's have at it. A legal entry, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Alright, we did knock a few things over, but we weren't rifling for nothing. It was when we heard the gunshot, see? Made us both jump and all that stuff went flying. No, me, it didn't have. Give me a fight! We was thinking we'd shoot her up, come out, we was thinking that the shooter would come up to the door and get us next. We stuck everything back there when we found it and scampered straight into them in the black. We couldn't have shot the pawnbroker, you see? We never even had a chance, did we?
My god, what the fuck is everybody in this game saying? I hate the way that everybody talks! Remember the simple days? Remember the simple days when it was just a lot of heart and she just wanted to take a picture of Nessie? Good times. Alright, nope, fine. Yeah, let's rip this apart. Alright. Okay, yeah, alright, yeah. You did the things, and it certainly was. And this game, this has been long.
We don't, Nash, we don't.
I'm not even really paying attention to what you're saying anymore, let's be honest. Alright, it can't just be coincidence that these men showed up at Windibanks that night. There's more to their testimony than meets the eye. I'm sure of it.
Alright, time to cross-examine and press everything.
Hold it!
Hold it. If that's the case, why didn't you testify to that effect in the first place?
Well, you know, we ain't exactly squeaky clean, are we? We ain't, Nash, we ain't. If we admitted to something like that, we would think people would think we was up to no good. Well said, Ringo, me old China. We'll land ourselves in more trouble.
And in fact, now, as a result of lying in your previous testimony, that's exactly what you've done. Landed yourselves in more trouble.
Ah, well, we didn't think we'd get caught, you see. That's rotten luck.
Right. I mean, this is how criminals operate. They do crimes because they think they're gonna get away with things, and then they end up just shooting themselves in the foot so much worse than they would have. It's the cheating husband effect. All right, maybe not cheating husband, but like, the amount of true crimes. I went through a phase where I listened to a lot of true crime podcasts because I do the stair climber every single day of my goddamn life, and you need something to pass the time. The amount of adulterers to murders, the pipeline of like sex cheating to committing murder is astounding. There are human people that are like, oh my god, I would have been absolutely mortified if I got caught being a cheater, so I had to commit murder, you see. The only way out of my problems was to kill another human person, and it's just like, what level of insanity do you have to be operating on to think that escalating from like, if you're worried about being embarrassed or shamed by being publicly known as like somebody who cheated on your wife, you think becoming a murderer is the solution? Like, honey, oh, sweetie, Jesus. Witnesses, explain your actions to the court. Why did you ransack the victim's counter?
We never ransacked nothing. Right, Nash, right. More like we tidied the place up.
Right, sorry. That's great. This man's face is just a ballsack. Alright, we heard the gunshot, it made us both jump, and all that stuff went flying. I guess press this? So what you're saying is, the sound of the gunshot shocked you so much that you knocked all those things off of the counter. Yeah. Yeah, shocked one of us that much. It was loud, alright. Alright, so little man is the one who knocked everything over.
Big bruv here screamed like a blooming baby and fell over on the counter. He knocked over loads of books and candlesticks and some skulls and whatnot. That got tangled up in some marionette. What knocked over a picture frame. What knocked them scales on the floor.
Great! Love that. Alright, what's next? The gunshot took you by surprise, is what you're saying. Alright, so they weren't expecting it. Oh, interesting. Great, we've got something. Do you have something to say? Oh, wow. Hi. Okay. Excuse me. Inspector Gregson, do you have something to add? I gotta keep saying I don't appreciate being lumped in with these scoundrels. Uh-huh. But I meant something to add about their testimony. You seemed to react just now at what Mr. Skulkin said. Did it make you think of something? It's probably nothing, of course. I wouldn't even be bothered to mention it, only... Well, fact is, cases don't get solved if you ignore the little details. Right. We have had a really strong act of focusing on every single little detail in this whole game, so why don't you just tell me what's on your mind? Uh-huh. As you know, we brought these fellas into the yard for questioning last night, and the statement they gave then told a slightly different story as to what they're saying now is what I'm saying.
What? Oh my goodness, I'm aghast. Did it, in fact?
Yeah, it did. In fact, you claimed you heard the victim shout something out before the gunshot.
We might have, Gov. We might have heard that. Does that ring a bell? You know, it does now that you mention it.
Granted, it's only a minor detail, but still, I can't help feeling like perhaps you've been a bit sloppy with your testimony here, fellas.
If I discover the witness's testimony has been any more sloppy than it has been hitherto, then I shall be forced to bring the very harshest punishment against them. Alright, look, easy everybody, we'll get it right this time. That's it, yep, it's all coming back to me now.
Then speak! Supplement your testimony with whatever details have miraculously returned to your questionable minds. Right, okay, yeah. We heard a voice yelling out, "Give me that gun!" Alright, let's press that.
Hold it!
To spill the tea. So in fact, you heard a voice, and the gunshot almost simultaneously.
We did, Gov, we did. Although, I suppose if you're being honest, we heard a kind of wavering voice before the yelling and all. If you don't want to get shot, give me that gun. BAM!
That's an interesting... If you don't want to get shot, give me the gun. Okay. And where were the voices coming from? Could you tell?
Of course we could. From the other side of that door behind the counter it was.
From the storeroom, where the victim was found dead. And the voice you heard, it was that of the victim, Mr. Windibank.
On my granny's life, 'cause it was. On his granny's life, of course it was.
So that would mean that you both knew Mr. Windibank and the sound of his voice.
Huh? So that would mean what? What, Nash? No, wait, what? Any ideas? Yes, Counsel, indeed it would. No, we didn't know the geezer. How am I supposed to deny it when that bloke and all the fancy clobbers giving us the evil eye?
If you value your lives, you will ensure your testimony is accurate and true.
On Granny's life it is. On Granny's life it must be.
To summarize, then, immediately after hearing the voice of the victim, you then heard the gunshot, causing you to stumble and upset the items on the counter, scattering them over the shop floor. Maybe I would appreciate this more if it was, like, funnier. Like, yeah, that's the line. See that one singular line of text? They heard the gunshot and they heard the... Why are we talking about swearing on your granny's life? This dialogue isn't funny. It's wasting my time. I'm bored. And I want to solve the case. And I want to go home. This might be the first game I've ever played on the live stream that actually broke me. Oh, son of a bitch.
You make it sound like we're clumsy.
Yeah, who would have thunk it? Alright, yeah, they tidied up, they made everything look spick and span. So, what was I supposed to do with that testimony? The bloke who owns the place was holding the gun, so he should have just fired instead of yelling at the girl. That's... But... we heard a voice yell out, "Give me the gun." Alright, I don't know, I guess keep pressing things. You're saying that Mr. Windibank had a gun in his hands.
Yeah, but that was a sight, eh? The two of them waving guns at each other, it must have been pretty heated. I mean, just before he shouted out, we heard the geezer say, "If you don't want to get shot." Didn't really sound like he meant it, mind. More of an empty threat is what you could say.
Yes. Mr. Windibank was known to keep a revolver on his shop counter at all times. People say that to protect the articles in his keeping, he'd readily put a bullet in someone's head if required. That someone being himself, of course.
Oh, good grief. Extraordinary devotion indeed, if alarmingly misguided. Well, he certainly sounded like he was ready to pull the trigger that other night, only the person was gonna shoot him to beat him up, and then we wished there was a geezer, and it was already... Okay, yeah.
Give me that gun. Here we go. Okay. Yeah. Uh-huh. 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 Didn't have give me a fright. We was thinking the shooter'd come out the door and get us next. Okay. Uh-huh. Something about looking through a keyhole or a spy hole. Yeah, that's in here. Uh-huh, 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 uh-huh. Gina was in there, yeah. Okay. Alright. To confirm, would it be correct to say that neither of you set foot inside the storeroom? Alright, that was the takeaway of that line. That's good to understand. Okay. Next! Stuck everything back where we found it. How did you know where everything went? Whereupon you fired a shot from your own gun at Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Oh yeah, about that. Well, you see, we were scared is all, and that's what happened. Don't put a loaded gun in your hand. Good advice. I agree. Uh-huh, uh-huh. Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. Uh-huh, uh-huh. Uh-huh, uh-huh. Uh-huh. Maybe this is what I should be doing with my game and sips. But I'm trying to drink less alcohol, because we're entering cutting season a little bit, because, you know, swimsuit season's coming up soon. We're trying to not drink unnecessary calories. But maybe I need to be drunk for this. Why is it so bad? Oh man, I'm feeling like maybe I'm just... There are people who are here because they are great Ace Attorney fans and they are fucking in love with this game. And I am really probably offending them. Alright, that's the extent of their testimony. I skipped one by accident. I have to go back to it. Such a logical thinker. These brothers are still hiding something. I have no proof to support it, so... What? Events can be very logical. People express their movements, their eyes, the words they choose. Something suspicious about their testimony. You should trust your instincts. Thanks, Iris. I really kind of miss Susato-san. Maybe that's also ruining this for me. I really would rather have Susato-san by my side than this fucking 9-year-old girl. But, you know, beggars can't be choosers. We couldn't have shot the pawnbroker, see? We never even had a chance. Alright, this I did not press. Let's press it. Why should we believe that? Oh, it is April Fool's Day. Oh, happy April Fool's, John Brown. It's a holiday. I should have played Mario Sunshine. Alright. There is so much courtroom shenanigans happening. George, I promise, the second game is miles better than this one. Okay. I trust you guys. Alright, the Skulkin brothers never actually encountered Mr. Windibank. Is that true? Can I disprove that? Okay, now we're back to this. Okay, well, let me look at my court record. Well, let me get through all this. God. Okay. Okay. Can I disprove that? Stereoscope, photographs, Skulkin Brothers gun. A single round was fired. Anything, like, suspicious to take note of? Okay. Windibank's gun. Gina was holding it when she was found unconscious. There's signs of a single discharge. Shows a single bullet wound in the man's back. A report prepared by Scotland Yard. No signs of trauma. Today's paper. What is this? Michaela case knows that can't be important yet. Iris's story. That's okay. Maybe the blood samples. There's green blood. There's Oh yeah, thrice fired Mason. Why is he in this? Unknown person's blood, thrice fired Mason, Windabanks. Okay. Pawnbroker's ticket, Mr. Mason's blood, pawnbroker's ticket, Gina's representation pip. I don't know. We knocked a few things over. Just before the gunshot, we heard a voice yelling out, "Give me that gun." He was the one holding the gun. So is this what I want to Gina was holding it when she was found. I mean, maybe?
Objection!
No, that's not. I have a question. There's something off. Fuck. Ugh! Christ, my HP. We thought the shooter would come out the door. I don't know. Chat, what is the answer? I don't even care anymore. Fuck my life. Everything back where we found it and scampered straight into him in the black. Is it that they didn't put everything back where they found it correctly? Maybe? Because everything shifted a little, but I don't think that... The stereoscope was, for the record, real fucking stupid. So they put everything in its exact location, but everything just like a hair off to the side. Statement 3, you were on the right track, but the wrong piece of evidence. He was holding a gun, so he should have just fired instead of yelling at the girl. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, but didn't. Is it a different gun? Holding a gun, he should have fired instead of yelling at the girl. Well... Do you want the answer? Yeah, I'll take the answer. Guys, I'm calling it, okay? We're playing to finish. We're playing to get through this game because, listen, I've already played all the way through the final case. I cannot in good conscience just drop the game at this point. We have to see it through to its end. But for the love of God, chat, help me get to the end of this game. I am ready to move on. I'm ready to play something else. The photo of Windabank. I have a photo of him? Wait, this? Oh, the crime scene photo of Windabank. Oh, hang on. Girl, shut, if you don't quiet your fucking mouth. This one. It shows a single bullet wound in the man's back. Oh, I get it, because he was facing her. Yeah, right? So you're saying that on the night in question, the victim, Mr. Windabank, was wielding a gun, is that correct?
That it is, Gov. That's who got the picture.
Yes. And yet, photographic evidence obtained by me immediately after the incident clearly shows that Mr. Windabank was not holding a firearm of the... Oh, I misinterpreted that. It's not about him facing her, it's that he's not holding the gun. Okay, well then, doesn't showing the gun also... Well, it's fine, whatever. Alright, you object. The victim's revolver was used in the incident. I will remind the court from the scene. Yeah. His fucking box. They're probably going to say something important, but also they're reenacting the exact same thing that they always do, so maybe they won't really have anything important to say. Proof that demonstrates this inconsistency in the witness's portrayal of the victim's final moment. Wait, what? Shit. If the crime had taken place as you've so colorfully described in your testimony, it would give rise to an undeniable and significant inconsistency in the final moments you just acted out. Oh, is this the back thing? Because he was shot in the back. Can I present the same thing again, or am I going to get in trouble?
Take that!
According to their testimony, the witnesses claimed to have heard a shout of "Give me that gun," followed by the gunshot.
Indeed, with the two events happening almost simultaneously, or so we've been led to believe.
That's right. Now, if that testimony is true, it would mean that at the moment of death, the victim and his attacker would have been facing each other. However, if I could ask the court to study the photograph of this victim's body again, in other words, look at this photograph! You can clearly see that Mr. Windibank was in fact shot from the rear, behind his ass, his buttocks, also his shoulder blade. So, as I stated before, there is an undeniable inconsistency in your testimony.
Oh no, Nash, we fucked it up.
Yes, you did. Alright. I'm curious what they're talking about. But I'm not curious enough to read the text. The point is, we'll get to where we need to get to. We'll do what we have to do. I will figure out what MacGuffin has happened here. The wool will not be pulled over my eyes. I will solve this case. We're just gonna do it speedily. Most of what they say seems to be unimportant anyways. Alright. Oh, new testimony. Okay. Give me that gun, I bellowed. Then he flew at us like he was possessed.
For an old geezer, the bloke was strong as an ox. He chucked me over the counter. I pulled me gun on him, and then he legged it through that door into the back room. We never had nothing to do with killing him. That's all that happened, I swear it.
So you're now telling us that moments before the victim was killed in the storeroom, you in fact encountered him in the main part of the shop?
Well, yeah. Sorry about that. Well, we find ourselves at an interesting juncture. This changes matters considerably. But, honest, Governor, this time, Nash, we got nothing more to hide.
Yeah, somehow I don't believe that for a second. Alright, that's it. This is the moment where I shine. Let me see if I can pinpoint what the sussy statement is. Let's think. We just got inside and had a sigh of the relief when the geezer showed his mug. Give me that gun, he bellowed, and he flew. So he yelled the line at them, not at the shooter. That's already interesting. You claim that you heard him yelling that at the other side of the storeroom door. Yeah, that must have been a lie. Okay, so he was yelling those words at you. Was he wielding a gun at the time? Was he ever? Barrels pointed straight at my face. So what you're saying is you definitely saw Mr. Windibank with the gun at that time. That's correct. Came at us. Escape. Strong as an ox, he chucked me over the counter. So are you suggesting that's how everything got moved? That sounds fine. I pulled my gun on him, and then he legged it through that door in the back. Alright, tell me more about that. Were you intending to shoot Mr. Windibank?
Oh, goodness, no, never. I was just, trying to intimidate him with my firearm is all.
Yeah, okay, bros. And then he fled to the storeroom. That's what happened. He showed the way.
I wonder why Mr. Windibank ran to the storeroom. I mean, according to what everyone's saying, Ginny was in there waiting for him with a gun.
That's true. Gina allegedly used Mr. Windibank's gun to threaten him and force him to open the storeroom. In which case, how did the gun end up in Mr. Windibank's hands again?
I don't know, but it's strange.
Yeah, that could be a significant inconsistency. Alright, my point is, my brother, that's right, Nash, me brother here, we're good bros, we do things good. We never had nothing to do with killing him, that's all that happened, I swear! You say you had nothing to do with it, huh?
Nothing at all. Nothing, Gov.
Okay. Door was locked from the inside, we tried to open it, but it's a decent door, it's good and strong, it wouldn't budge. So in the end, the situation remains unchanged. Okay. Only one other person, Gina Lestrade. Yeah, that sucks for me. Was there anyone else apart from Gina who could have possibly shot Mr. Windibank? Well, there must have been, because I'm assuming that Gina didn't do it. Time to pull out our bluffs, boy. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin!
What? What's that look for?
From the moment you admitted that you'd encountered the victim face to face that night, the course of this trial has changed completely. I turned it around.
It did.
What is your point, my learned friend? The question we have to answer here is, who could have shot Mr. Windibank? And it's the belief of the defense, that is me, that the defendant is not the only possible answer at all, actually. I am feeling ballsy. You have my attention. In that case, let us return this plan of the premises. The victim was killed in the storeroom, which was locked from the inside. Those are the facts. So pray, what other possible answer to the question of who shot the man could there be?
Counsel, you must now provide answers to the court in respect of 2 conundrums.
2? Okay.
Indeed, namely, from what location did the culprit shoot the victim, and furthermore, where was the victim at the time?
I understand, my lord.
Are you alright, Runo?
I'm not entirely sure, but there is one thing I'm sure about. I need to bluff my way to the end of this game. If I can prove that there's a credible new alternative to what happened, it would change Gina's prospects hugely. So now, time for some clarity. Show the court on this plan the answers to the questions posed by his lordship. If you believe someone else could have killed the victim, indicate from where that person could have fired the gun. So I have a hypothesis, but do I have a picture of the storeroom I can look at? Is there a, there's a window in the door frame, right? Is it possible that he was shot from out here? Like, gunman, like a little sniper, he's standing inside the storeroom, gunman's here, just a pew pew, pew, and he dies? It sounds plausible to me. Granted, I'm only paying like a fraction of attention. I think we're trying to, we definitely want our killer to be outside of here though, because this is our locked room mystery. If we're saying it's not Mr. Windibank himself and we're saying it's not Gina Lestrade, it has to be these clowns out here in the storeroom. This is what I think. Let's see if I'm onto something. The defense believes that the culprit could have shot the victim from this location here. That doesn't sound very specific. And in answer to the second question, assuming the culprit fired from the location indicated, where was the victim at the time? I think he was here.
Take that!
The culprit shot the victim from outside the storeroom. That is my story, and I think I'm correct. Continue. Oh, thank you. Well, you see, Mr. Windibank, he died instantly from a bullet wound in his back. Looking at the stain of the blood on the storeroom floor, it doesn't appear that the body was moved after death. That tells us that he was almost certainly shot while he was still in the storeroom. However, the crucial point is, where was the shooter when the fatal bullet was fired?
So you are adamant that the shot was fired from outside the storeroom?
Well, according to the Skulkin brothers' earlier testimony,
I put me gun on him and then he legged it through that door in the back room.
if Mr. Windibank ran away through the door, we have to assume that the door was open at the time.
Ah.
Oh, the door was just open. Yeah, that also makes sense. It was at precisely that moment when the victim was fleeing for his life that these brothers had the perfect opportunity to shoot the man in the back once he was inside the storeroom.
Yeah.
Nice.
You know, come to think of it, do you remember what the prosecutor said at the start of the trial?
No. Moving on to the findings of Scotland Yard's coroner. His report states the bullet entered the body on a rising diagonal trajectory. It means the victim was likely shot by someone significantly shorter in height than himself. Oh, I think we have one of those short kings in the courtroom right now. Little guy, you want to hop off your box for me?
Poor man. He shot while he was running as fast as he could to safety.
Of course, not very fast, I see. He would have been leaning forward as he was running away, so even if the bullet was fired horizontally, it still would have entered his body at an upward trajectory. Oh.
So the culprit isn't necessarily someone shorter than Mr. Oh, what the? No, but
We have a short king criminal. We can use the short thing.
Objection!
Oh, fine, fuck. I'm sure my learned friend can't have forgotten that the storeroom door was found closed and locked from the inside. You claim the victim was shot as he fled into the room. Do you also claim his corpse was dexterous enough to turn the key in the lock? Well, no, but if Gina Lestrade was in the room and she just saw a man get shot, she might panic and be like, oh, I better lock the door and not let these men inside. You feel me? What if someone else locked the door? Yeah, there's someone else who could have locked the storeroom door. My guy, come on, work with me a little. Present your hypothesis to the court. Oh, I intend to. Gina Bonita Fonita, she's a pickpocket and a thief, and she can turn a key lock. Obviously, the person who locked the door was the only other person inside the storeroom at the time. The defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade.
Objection!
That's absurd. You're suggesting that the accused deliberately engineered the sealed room? For what possible reason? To protect herself from getting shot, maybe? Such actions would only serve to tighten the noose around her neck. I'm inclined to agree. Well, counsel? Well, that is a tricky one, isn't it? Wait, am I stupid here?
Half-baked notions have no place in my courtroom.
But of course Ginny would have locked the door. It almost goes without saying, doesn't it?
That's what I think. Is everybody else stupid?
Well, I mean, if I was Ginny in that situation, I know I would have locked the door as quickly as I could. I mean, there was a fucking murderer shooting people.
Thank you. Fucking Christ. The 9-year-old gets it. Before the two brothers arrived, Miss Lestrade and Mr. Windibank were in the storeroom together. Now, I don't know what went on between them at that time, but at some point, Mr. Windibank must have heard the intruders breaking into his shop and left the storeroom.
Intruders, eh? That must have been us, bruv.
If your theory is correct, that would leave the accused alone in the storeroom. Iris is 10, George? Oh. The 10-year-old gets it. Yes, it would. Then probably only moments later, the victim fled back through the storeroom door hoping to escape danger. But didn't quite make it. Hit in the back by the bullet, Mr. Windibank would have fallen to the floor where he was, just inside of the storeroom. And what we have to ask ourselves now is, what would the defendant have done in that moment?
I see where you're going with this.
Thank you. It's so obvious a 10-year-old was able to figure it out. Outside the storeroom was a terrifying killer who had just murdered Mr. Windibank. I am going to take my time to explain this.
Hold it!
Okay.
But we ain't the ones who've done it. We ain't, Gov. You gotta believe us.
Objection.
We'd never shoot no one.
Now, why don't you tell that to my friend Herlock? That's blatantly untrue. I know for a fact that you would, because before my own eyes, you shot Mr. Herlock Sholmes. There's only one logical conclusion here. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin, you brothers had every opportunity to have been the true perpetrators of Mr. Windibank's murder.
Fuck.
Alright, good. Case closed. Can we wrap it up? Well, where does this leave us?
You mean to say the pickpocket was shot in the back?
I should have known it was those three brothers. They look as shady as a dense forest. And that was amazing, Runo. All the members of the jury seem to be firmly on our side now.
Yeah, first time for everything, right? Probably the last. Well, I think you've done... Okay, girl, sweetie, we're in court. Put the gun down. An admirable effort, my learned friends. Fuck off, dude. Can't we just call it a day? What? He's laughing.
You find the situation amusing, Lord Von Zieks. I myself find the defense's argument most persuasive.
I dare say, such chicanery is the bread and butter of the street performers in your provincial eastern nation. But such blatantly malicious conjuring tricks amount to nothing more than inexcusable pettifoggery here. Wow, I respect your dialogue the most. If I wasn't so mind-numbingly out of my mind where I can't even form sentences anymore, I would be flirting with you hardcore because your verbiage is so verbose. What? The hypothesis you put forward so ostensibly credibly cannot and will not stand. Because you see, it contains a fatal flaw. Fatal? Do you mean to tell me that you're unaware of your logic's failing?
I say, Lord Von Zieks, might be an idea to explain this bally conjuring trick or whatever it is to the troops on the ground, no?
The fatal flaw in my learned friend's argument is really very simple to understand. Assuming you're not too dim-witted to count bullets. By George! That's me.
Counting bullets?
Oh dear! He noticed.
What? Counsel? Yeah? Yes, sir? Tell the court how many bullets were found at the scene of the crime. 2. There were 2 bullets. Correct. The first, that which hit the victim in the back ending his life, and the second, that which struck the detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes, on his arrival at the scene. Okay. Yeah. Right. The bullet that injured Mr. Sholmes appears to have passed through his body to strike the calendar. Your lordship's understanding is correct. Furthermore, we know there are 2 firearms involved in the incident. The revolver belonging to the victim, Mr. Windibank, and the Skulkin Brothers' revolver. The evidence shows that a single bullet was fired from each gun. Yeah, okay. A single bullet from each. Now then, my learned friend. Yeah?
You yourself told the courtroom only moments ago
that these brothers shot Mr. Herlock Sholmes right before your eyes. Well, yeah, I did say that.
Oh, goodness, oh boy! I think you'll find
that if the single bullet that was fired from the brothers' gun hit Mr. Sholmes, that means
Windibank was not shot by the same gun. Stop. Only 1 bullet. Stop.
Exactly. This Nipponese street performer presented an ostensibly credible argument, however. It was never anything more than a diversionary trick with no hope of standing up to scrutiny. Well, you see, I just need a minute to when you're in your dream, okay, that's wasteful. Pray, forgive the discourtesy of flinging the dregs of this hallowed nectar into the public gallery. That sounds like a crime. You could have hit somebody.
Lord Von Zieks.
But this court needs to open its eyes. My leg! The accused, Miss Gina Lestrade, is no ordinary little girl. Despite her young years, she can regrettably no longer be described as a juvenile. The person in the dock is far from a law-abiding citizen. She is a past riddled with criminal conduct. Right, everybody doesn't like Gina. The truth is, the accused broke into the pawnbrokery on the night in question with loathsome intent. As we can see beyond doubt in this print which depicts her threatening the victim with the murder weapon. Right, that is rough. And I have in my possession here one more piece of evidence which the prosecution wishes to present. disc.
I'll be taking that.
No, you can't! It's mine!
Sorry, miss.
Okay, the planispheric disc is coming into play. The music box disc. McGilded's music box disc. The very day before the hateful murder of Mr. Windibank, the accused attempted to make off with this article which clearly doesn't belong to her. And with none of the subtlety of a pickpocket, I might add, but by brute force and brazen impudence.
Oh, good gracious, she's impotent.
Wait, what? Make no mistake, any sympathy for the accused on account of her years is misguided and dangerous. There are no depths to which this girl would not stoop if pushed, no crime she would not commit. The court forgets the fact at its peril. Sounds like character assassination to me, but go off.
I think it would be prudent to take this music box disc into evidence, counsel. As a grim testament to the defense's...
Oh. What?
Lord Von Zeeks,
Gregson?
Huh?
Yes, Inspector?
We had a meeting yesterday at the yard with the prosecution service, and, I think it was agreed that the disc wouldn't be used as evidence.
Why? Hey, what's this all about? Why is Gregson acting weird? That's the first time that he's said anything to Von Zeeks at all this whole trial. I'm unaware of any such meeting.
But those were the instructions right from the top. The government bigwigs were pretty insistent.
The bigwigs? What are they doing in this? Inspector, I am the prosecutor and I alone determine how to present my case. Your warning is noted. Thank you. Yikes, he just said, honey, thanks but no thanks. The prosecution wishes to proceed with submitting this disc as evidence, my lord. I mean, this is kind of good news. This means that Von Zeeks, is not in cahoots with the bigwigs, and the bigwigs are probably the big bad evil, and Gregson is probably just their little bitch.
Well, bailiff, if that's so say it, so it shall be.
The prosecution has established the accused's motive, opportunity, and baseness of character. There is nothing more to add. Ugh. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I await your informed decisions and I rest my case. Well, shit. That was a very quick turnaround against me. I had the jury on my side.
Oh dear, it wasn't even for 5 minutes, Runo.
My lord! Wonder if I might say something at this point. Proceed, Mr. Foreman. Been stumbling about in a bit of a fog up till now, if truth be told, but all of a sudden, the answer is badly obvious to me and my men. There's only one thing for it.
Oh, shit.
Very well. Let's hear from the jury.
Guilty.
Yeah.
Guilty.
Okay.
Guilty.
No one cares about you.
Guilty.
Alright, stick it something on my
Guilty.
ass. Oh, honey.
Guilty.
Alright, cool. We are once again back where we started. Everyone thinks I'm guilty. Man. We are just... This is just endless circles we're going through.
Well, we have a consensus among the jury, it seems.
When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth.
Hey, that's my line! I wrote that for Hurley!
I learned it from Jimmy Neutron.
How dare he use it against us?
Don't worry, Iris. I think we're finished yet. Or I don't think we're finished yet. There's still more to this case than what I'm realizing. I mean, there has to be. There is one thing that I'm absolutely certain of. Gina didn't shoot Mr. Windibank. That's beyond any doubt.
Very well. We will proceed with the second summation examination of the day. Mr. Foreman, are you and the other jurors ready? Garrett Up Squadron is primed and ready for action, sir. Very good. Very well then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. You will each explain on what grounds you have now determined the defendant to be guilty.
The judicial findings? Nah. I'm sorry. We're doing that tomorrow. It's a multifactorial thing. You guys have to keep this in mind. I am a little bit of a bitch right now. The game hasn't done the best job of keeping my attention. I also have been going through, as I've lamented on this stream over and over again, an unfortunate breakup of unrequited feelings with a boy, and that has left me in a bit of a pissy mood, you know? So I can only do this for like an hour at a time. Until the day where I can get drunk and power through all of it. Until that day comes, we're going to deal with the jury in tomorrow's stream at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Be there, be square. Hopefully we can do that, and then hopefully that'll be the end of part 2 of the trial, and maybe we can be one step closer to solving this mystery, this long-winded mystery of Windabank. All right, thank you for your time. I look forward to continuing to get to the end of this, and I will see you guys in the next one. All right, boys. Toodles!